She slammed the UK government's visa rules for Ukraine refugees on Tuesday morning's GMB. And just a few hours later, Amanda Holden nailed 70s chic in a green and white striped dress with matching platform heels as she left Heart FM in London's Leicester Square. The BGT judge, 51, was preened to perfection in her pussy bow blouse frock, which boasted large pearl buttons down the center. Amanda oozed confidence as she strolled along in her belted midi dress and matching pair of peep-toe heels. The star carried her belongings in a circular white top handle bag and completed her vintage look with an oversized pair of white rim shades. It comes after Amanda visited a refugee camp in Medyka, Poland last week, meeting with organizations helping those affected by Russia's invasion of Ukraine and giving a platform to those affected via her new podcast Ukraine's Hidden Voices. Speaking on Tuesday's Good Morning Britain, Amanda hit out at Home Secretary Priti Patel after witnessing firsthand the paperwork refugees face when trying to enter the UK. Speaking about visit with the Red Cross to Poland, Amanda told GMB, "I went to the biggest humanitarian center, which is a disused Tesco. These people sit next to the country flag they think they want to live in. They all see it as a temporary measure before they return to their motherland. It's a very efficient service being run there by everyone. There was a Union Jack flag there but 35 pages of paperwork, of which the first 5 questions are asking them their financial situation and mortgage situation, which is ridiculous when they only have a bag of belongings with them." Taking aim at the Home Secretary, Amanda added that she feels angry as thousands of British citizens have registered for the Homes for Ukraine scheme, expressing their interest in supporting Ukrainians fleeing the war. "It is utterly ridiculous. Priti Patel's winning. We're not going to be getting many people coming into our country, despite the fact 150,000 people have volunteered to open up their homes. I feel very cross about that, to be honest," said Amanda. Speaking to hosts Susanna Reid and Martin Lewis, Amanda continued, "We're British and we were looking through the paperwork thinking, you would have a job to fill out these forms. It's an absolute appalling situation, but obviously she doesn't want immigrants, does she, Priti? I'm not political, but it's made me really cross." Susanna then told her, "That is a political statement, isn't it?" Whilst Martin praised Amanda for her work, adding, "When you went to visit, you saw it in person. If you're unaffected by it, there's probably something wrong with you. Politics isn't about party politics. Politics is about expressing an opinion on something you know and care about. So well done for doing it." Martin then read out a statement from the government. "We are moving as quickly as possible to ensure those fleeing horrific persecution in Ukraine can find safety in the UK, and our Homes for Ukraine scheme now allows those without family connections to come here." Amanda explained that she visited Poland after speaking to a Ukraine refugee who had been sheltering from the Russian attack. "I put something up on my Instagram page to raise awareness for the Red Cross, and from then I noticed a comment from a woman who was sheltering from a bomb in Kiev. I called her and spoke to my heart producers. We decided to do a podcast so the people of Ukraine's voices could be heard. I feel like talking is medicine, so it's a great place for us to be educated from a different point of view to the news." Amanda explained that after 10 days the woman and all the children and women in that basement got onto a packed train. It was reminiscent of World War II. She is now safely in Romania. "The reason I went out there is because there was an American volunteer on my podcast who said I should go out there. I was speaking to them from the comfort of Heart Studios, so it was overwhelming." Amanda said after her visit she came home and spoke to her daughters Lexi, 16, and Holly, 9, about the experience, saying, "The people are so pragmatic, they get on with it. I came home and said to my own kids, I can't imagine what we would pack into a bag and leave daddy behind, make a snap decision about what country we want to live in." During last week's BAFTA 2022 Film Awards, Andy Serkis, 57, ripped into Priti Patel's visa rules and the UK's immigration policy, while presenting Best Director at London's Royal Albert Hall. The Lord of the Rings star branded the Tory MP's handling of visa applications a complete nightmare while indicating that, in general, she has created a hostile environment for asylum seekers. Taking to the stage, Andy said, "A world-class director is a visionary empowered to change the world with a story that they're burning to tell. Bringing together and leading a huge family of supremely talented strangers on a difficulty and chaotic journey, whilst hopefully creating an atmosphere that inspires, is inclusive and values every single member of that family equally." So it's no surprise that Priti Patel on her debut feature, Hostile Environment, found enormous problems. And that her follow-up movie, All Refugees Are Welcome But Some Are More Welcome Than Others, is a complete nightmare. Unlike the European Union, which is allowing Ukrainians 3-year residency without a visa, the UK has retained controls on entry, saying they are essential for security. On Monday, Sajid Javid said Britain could welcome hundreds of thousands of refugees fleeing the fighting in Ukraine over the coming weeks. After the government's Homes for Ukraine scheme opened at the weekend, the Health Secretary vowed those arriving in the UK would get all the support they needed. As of this week, the UK has issued 9,500 visas to Ukrainians with family ties to Britain after receiving more than 30,000 applications, while 150,000 people had expressed an interest in hosting refugees through Homes for Ukraine. Mr. Javid defended comments by Home Secretary Priti Patel who insisted security checks were needed on refugees from the war to prevent Russian spies infiltrating the country. Speaking at the Conservative Spring Forum in Blackpool at the weekend, Ms. Patel said it was naive to assume that just because most people arriving in the UK were women and children there could not be Kremlin agents among them. Mr. Javid said that while any checks should be proportionate, the Salisbury nerve agent attack in 2018 underlined the need to be vigilant. "We saw in our country Russian agents came here with a deadly nerve agent, a chemical weapon, and they used it in Salisbury. We know it killed people and Russia was directly responsible for that," he told Sky News. "They infiltrated our country with agents, with a chemical weapon, and used it, and so it is right there are some level of security checks. We also know that extremists and extremist organizations operate in that region." Mr. Javid said the government was supporting Ukraine in every single way we can. That includes military aid, humanitarian aid, or indeed providing sanctuary for those that are fleeing Ukraine, he told LBC. "I expect that we will see hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians arrive here in the UK, and they will get all the support that they need.